acts like that can add to a bigger whole.
Political correctness is definitely infringing upon the free speech rights of many individuals throughout society.
The most impactful moment of that whole day is when I went to talk with the vice principal. He called me into his office and he sat me down and he stared across the table and started talking to me. And about halfway through the conversation, he looked me in the eyes and said, "If your faith is offensive, you have to leave it in the car." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. If my faith was offensive, are we in the United States?
And incidentally, nobody ever complained about Chase's t-shirt. No student. They haven't been able to introduce any evidence that indicated that a student was even offended by his t-shirt. But nevertheless, the school censored it.
Where does all that hatred start? It can start from the most basic of areas, such as a t-shirt.
He was wearing an extremely confrontational, very ugly t-shirt. I think schools can regulate that time and place and manner to a much greater extent than government can the citizenry.
This is the kind of case that the student has to win, because if not, then free speech is really worth nothing in America's high schools.
The classic case that established this precedent is Tinker versus Des Moines, where Mary Beth Tinker wore an armband into school to protest the war in Vietnam. The court held that she has a right to express her political views, and that right is only limited by disruption of the educational process.
Students have free speech rights. Free speech rights of students are constantly being circumscribed.
I mean, these are just kids. What do they have to contribute to the marketplace and ideas and opinions?
Today, a U.S. judge agreed, ruling that the district's policy against hate speech is within the law.
To this day, Poway High School will not allow speech on their campus that they feel like is offensive to students.
One of the bummers for some people about protecting free speech and the marketplace of ideas is that people get offended, and that's the price of liberty. We don't have the right to not be offended.